Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 41?
Yeah, 41.
Okay, 41. All right, so 41 of the HooperCast. I'm Hooper, still my cast, and still not yours. So today we have.
I like to think we share it, Hooper.
Oh well, you're wrong. I was just kidding.
Oh my god! Oh god!
I
hate my life.
I thought we had something special. Anyway, sorry. I'm gonna go down like a weird joke spiral if I keep pursuing that one. We have Mr. Michael Grayson with us today.
Hey everybody!
All the way, like it's a little bit farther from me than Dustin is, but Savannah, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. How's it going? Is it going all right?
Yeah, everything's good, man.
Nice.
Having a good time out here, and me and my Dalmatian and my girlfriend, and we're just enjoying life, every minute of it.
How big is your Dalmatian?
He's about 35, 40 pounds. He's about to be 3 years old, and he's smarter than hell, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a smart boy.
Yeah. Make damn good companions and good Disney movies as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Real. Except for the live action ones, those suck.
Oh, yes.
I know.
Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn Close.
But then she went on The Shield and, kind of made up for it.
Here's a fact for you. Did you know that there's a sequel to 101 Dalmatians written by the original author of the book or whatever, where the Dalmatians learn to fly and speak telepathically to each other? And,
What?
and I kid you not. This is for real. And Disney obviously disregarded it for the movies, but yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, God, that sounds terrible.
Do you know what it's called?
I have no idea. Probably just 101 Dalmatians 2. I don't know.
Well, Disney did the live action sequel and called it 102 Dalmatians,
Right.
and everybody was face palming.
Yeah, right. Even the dogs.
Yeah,
They have those shots they put in trailers, which I'm sure was in that trailer, where they cut to the dog and the dog goes burr, perplexed,
Yeah.
When you said did you know there's a sequel? We were talking about Glenn Close. I thought you were going to say to Albert Nobbs. And I was like, all right.
Hello, I'm Albert Nobbs.
Albert Nobbs 2. Let's see.
We had a joke about Albert Nobbs about how it was Glenn Close plays a man who plays a woman who plays a man. Hello, my name's Albert Nobbs, and that's what it was.
It could be Albert Nobbs 2, fool him twice. Okay.
That's good.
Well,
No. It's called The Starlight Barking. I had
what?
to look it up.
I thought you were talking about Albert Nobbs.
No. Sorry, I've been out of the loop. I've been looking up 101 Dalmatians facts.
I thought that was a joke, and I was like, I don't get it.
The Starlight Barking.
That's good.
God. Well,
I'm gonna have to look at that.
Oh, they found out they're aliens or something.
oh my God.
Explains all the spots, man.
Disney should have made that movie.
Oh man. I'm sure they will. Everyone's really running out of ideas.
Yeah.
Where's that script?
Read him a letter. I do have a question, just kind of off topic about Disney.
Yes.
Everybody knows about they bought the Lucasfilms franchise or whatever. But put that aside, did you guys see The Odd Life of Timothy Green?
I did not.
No, I didn't.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Was it depressing?
Oh, dude, it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so awesome that it was so bad. But it's been a while since Disney's had a real big flop.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, The Odd Life of Timothy Green. I couldn't even finish it, dude. I mean, Jennifer Gardner is great and everything, and we love her, but the things that were coming out of her mouth during that movie, you just sit there and you tilt your head, kind of like a perplexed Dalmatian, and just be like, what? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I heard it was. They're just I heard someone else review it, and they were like, they put, because it's basically they can't conceive a child, so already you're sitting there fuck. And then I thought this was a kids movie. Isn't it that they decide all the traits they would want their dream kid to have, and then they put it in a time capsule or whatever, and then bury it
in the garden. Well, first off, you got to back up because Jennifer Gardner and her husband are are heavily drinking during all of this.
Well, that's probably why.
They're drinking and writing down, we want our boy to be an athlete. We want our boy to be honest to a T, stuff like that. And they would write it down, they put it in the box, and then they were drinking, and they were out in the garden, and they dug a hole, and they buried this box with all these little sticky notes in it. And then literally, I'm not even kidding you, the movie goes on, they go to sleep, and then it starts raining. And, if it was real life, it would have been 6 hours, Within 6 hours, a fully developed, 7 or 8 year old crawls out of the ground, covered in dirt. Oh, man. I'm telling you, that's something you need to watch, and it's a laugh riot.
Yeah.
Man. That sounds like meth behavior, like obsessing about good qualities you want a person to have, and then digging a hole in the backyard in the middle of the night and then falling asleep in the yard. They should do that on Breaking Bad.
They should.
Tucker.
That's also how Wonder Woman was born. She was made out of sand.
What?
And then her mom went out to the beach and made her out of sand, made a baby out of sand, and Zeus struck it with a bolt of lightning, and then ta-da, there's a baby.
That's good.
Oh my god. This is how we teach our children the important things, where people come from.
Where babies come from.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Did either of you guys, I know Dustin did. Michael, did you get a chance to see Silver Linings Playbook?
Yes, I did.
What'd you think of it?
Well, all I'm saying is that if a woman can cheat on Bradley Cooper, none of us stand a chance, man.
For real.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a god amongst men, don't get me wrong.
He is.
And then you cut to the scene where he's having all these flashbacks. And you see this old, bald, saggy history teacher. And, Bradley Cooper, he's a sexy guy.
Right.
Yeah.
It just makes you lose faith in humanity.
They keep saying how he lost weight. I want to see him really, really fat.
Yes.
Bradley Cooper. Then maybe it would make sense.
Right.
It's almost like that's the biggest insult. It's I could understand if I caught you in the shower with Ryan Reynolds or something, but you're in the shower with this Alan Arkin looking motherfucker, and
I know.
He's really? Is my mental illness that crippling that you didn't even pick someone good to have an affair with? I'm just saying.
Plus, that freaking guy looks at him and goes, "You should probably leave." And I'm
I know.
dude,
I know.
This is my wife. This is my house. You should leave.
I think Bradley Cooper did a really good job to create a character that a lot of young men can relate to.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, we're three young men, and we've all lost our tempers at one time or another, but the way he portrayed it made it so real. You could really relate to that.
Right.
I thought it was very impressive.
Yeah, I did too. The acting all around in the film was really, really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I mean, look at De Niro. He plays this father with crippling OCD.
Yeah.
You gotta set the remotes up in a specific order so that the Eagles win, and he has his handkerchief in his hand, and he's doing this and he's doing that. I thought De Niro did a great job.
I did too. Yeah.
When you talked about the whole "you should leave" part, I'm sitting here thinking I don't remember that, and it's because I fell asleep during the first 15 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I got up really early this morning, and then I shotgunned a beer before I went to the theater, and so by the time I sat down, I was like, "Oh wow!" and so I'm sitting in the theater, and I'm like, they're talking really quietly, and they're establishing characters. And it's not an action movie, so it's not like you're establishing character while you chase terrorists or something. So right. I'm sitting there like, oh, good Lord, oh no. and I woke up, and then as soon as Jennifer Lawrence showed up, I was surprisingly awake and alert for the rest of the film.
I can see why.
Yeah, and so but also first of all because something to look at now, but also because her character was, I believe, they're all good performances, but I was the most engaged and intrigued by her role in the film.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
As really this catalyst, and I thought it was a very touching love story that speaks a bit about mental illness and bipolar disorder and great performances and
absolutely
it's insane because I thought the same thing when I saw well, okay, not about the emotional part, but this fact I'm about to mention. When I saw Limitless and De Niro and Bradley Cooper in that, I was just like, it must be great for Bradley Cooper, who at the time he'd mostly done comedies and stuff, and he was coming off The Hangover, and it's like, this is a really inventive movie and a good performance. It must be a dream for him to be able to just act alongside De Niro, and do something different. And then I was watching the Inside the Actor Studio with Robert De Niro.
Yeah, I was going to bring this up. Yeah.
And they do audience questions.
Right.
And at the very end, one of the people was Bradley Cooper. And he's like, "Hi, my name's Bradley Cooper. I'm a senior here at New School University." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you have no idea you're going to act with this guy in 2 movies and possibly more. You have no clue." Yeah. You're just a young kid who wants his shot.
Asking De Niro for advice.
Asking Robert De Niro for advice, and then boom, you're going to co-star with him.
Absolutely.
And one of the times he's going to play your father.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Dream come true for that guy.
It's so creepy to see that. It's just like, oh shit, that's him.
Yep.
Yeah. Was there anything you guys didn't like about it?
I mean, not like anything that stood out, but like, I guess it was a little predictable in some parts, but you can't. I mean, it's a romantic comedy, so there are going to be things that happen, and like you kind of guess.
When I started the movie, I was sitting there and I was watching it, and about 25, 30 minutes into it, it just kind of hit me where it's a really heavy movie. It starts off really heavy, really emotional, and right away, immediately, you care for these characters, and you care about what's going to happen to these characters. Yeah. And half an hour into it, I was a bit overwhelmed. But that's just how movies are made these days and whatnot. But I was definitely what I took away with the movie was I was really impressed with Danny Elfman's score.
That was Danny Elfman?
Yeah.
Wow.
You really wouldn't know it, yeah.
Yeah. It was
kind of understated
for
an Elfman score, yeah.
I didn't even realize it. Well, you see it in the credits, but coming from a sound design background and doing sound for film,
right?
You would have no idea that it was Elfman,
right?
Because it wasn't Tim Burton-esque, Johnny Depp wasn't in it, but still, the music was very, very good, and it was real subtle because when the movie was over, unless if you were paying attention for that music, you didn't even realize it was there.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So I thought it was great sound design, a great score. I was real impressed.
Mm-hmm. There were some really good music choices throughout the film, not just in the score, but in the use of like licensed music.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with some of the stuff. You've got White Stripes, you've got Bob Dylan going.
Absolutely.
A little bit of everything. It's really good.
I was happy to not see the Ho Hey song in there. Not that it's a bad song or anything, but I heard it so much recently anyway, and then it's in all the trailers, and I'm like, okay, and I thought, I swear to God, if like there's a dancing montage where they play that song, I'm going to stab myself.
Yeah.
And there wasn't. I was like, oh, nice, well done. Well done.
Done proper.
Way to not piss me off. You get a leg up right there just by not angering me. Definitely deserved this nomination, would you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of them. I think this is the first film in quite a while to get all 4 big acting awards, or to be nominated for all 4 of them. And they all deserve it equally. Even the mother, who plays like she doesn't have a whole lot to do, but she really is like the emotional like center of the thing, and having to deal with a son whose temper gets the best of him all the time, and a husband who is completely obsessed with a certain way of doing things. And I think she did a really good job, although it was a lot more subtle of a performance than the other one.
The movie really made me want to go running too.
Yeah, true.
Like I remember, I walked out of the movie and I thought I was supposed to go running today, and I didn't get around to it. I had so much to do, but I thought, crap, that way to remind me of just something I didn't achieve this morning.
Yeah.
Maybe think it'd be a good day to go out and buy some trash bags.
Right. Well, it's also weird because when I pressure wash at work, I wear a trash bag like that so I don't get like sprayed and soaked. I remember thinking like, well, I know why I do it. Why are you wearing one?
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyway, well, are there any other thoughts you guys have on the film?
Overall, I was pleased. I liked it. Other than it came on really, really strong, and then it backed off, which I think it needed to do. Mm-hmm. But I was very happy with it.
Yeah, I was too. Very good movie.
I would like to say that also my little button on the movie is I liked seeing Robert De Niro threaten to shove a camera up a kid's ass or whatever he did. Just to see him threaten that neighbor kid. I like watching Robert De Niro threaten people. He's one of the best. He's one of the best threateners out there.
Oh, really is.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro.
Like
whenever I think of Robert De Niro, I think of Raging Bull.
Yeah.
I always think of The Godfather Part 2 for whatever reason.
Okay.
I still haven't seen Part 2, so I think of Casino.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
The only other threatener I can think of in recent memory, like who's more of a contemporary act. Well, that's not fair. Ray Winstone has this insult on The Departed, and he's like, I'll cut your fucking nuts off. Just the way he says it, I was like, oh my god, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen to anyone. That's a fully loaded threat. I don't feel safe. Like the way he says it, I'm like, it's a good threat. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that, but it's so obvious. Like if I was going to threaten someone, I think that's what I'd do. Like, hey, I don't know. Anyway, do you guys want to move into film news, or do you have another movie you wanted to talk about? What else have you seen recently, Michael?
Oh, man. Actually, what I got my girlfriend into, what we've been watching is, we did season 1 and 2 of Portlandia, because it's on Netflix.
How is that?
Man, well, see, I'm a huge Tim and Eric fan.
Right.
I really am. And I feel like they looked and they saw what Tim and Eric were doing, and they said, how can we relate this to the indie culture? Mm-hmm. And they basically did that, because, you look at Portlandia, and it's like, it's nothing but a show of sketches. It's just a bunch of sketches put together. There's really no protagonist. There's really no antagonist. There's no conflict. It's just silliness. So we did season 1 and 2 of Portlandia, and I laughed my ass off the whole time. Because, especially all three of us, we went and we graduated from SCAD, which is a huge hipster city, it's college town, hipsters, fixed gear bicycles and skinny jeans,
I forgot about the bicycles.
And, you're walking down, it's the middle of summer, and you see hipsters wearing winter hats,
Right.
I thought Portlandia just really hit the nail on the head with that kind of stuff, and I was very, very, very happy with that. We had a good time watching it. But what I have gone back and started watching is BBC Earth and BBC Life.
Oh, man.
Because that stuff just blows your mind.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, but
every, slow motion lizard running on water stuff. I'm always how do they do that?
Man. And I'm a huge Alice in Wonderland fan. And, they show some of these insects or some of these birds or whatever, and they just look like they're made up,
Yeah.
They don't even look real, and it's fascinating. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been into, at least, the last 10 days or so.
I started watching Freaks and Geeks. I told this to Connor the other day, but when I started watching that, I'm about 6 episodes in now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I didn't start it a long time ago, because it's a really, really cool show.
But it's old
Netflix? News now. So. Yeah, it's on Netflix, yeah.
Freaks and Geeks. All right, I'll look into that.
Yeah, that's a great show.
It really is. And I saw Zero Dark 30 not too long ago. I don't think we've talked about that.
No, we haven't.
Have either of you guys seen it?
No, and the thing is I don't know. I don't think it was marketed towards me specifically.
Yeah.
I feel
right,
like
yeah.
I feel like when we were at war and all sorts of conflict all over the world and everything, I feel like I watched enough C-SPAN and CNN and stuff,
sure.
to know what's going on than to go watch a feature film about happened in the last couple years around the world.
Right. Well, I really just saw it just because of like the awards coming up, and
right.
I just wanted to have a good, I don't know, an outlook like, oh hey, yeah, I see where they're coming from or whatever. And it is a good movie, but you're right. I mean, it covers ground that we've all heard for years and years. So, but you know, it's a good film for what it is.
Well, you know, I read a little bit about it, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but the main focus of the film is to show the role of women in a war zone. Is that correct? Well,
the protagonist is a woman, so that kind of comes into play a little bit. But for the most part, I mean, it's just it chronicles from I think 2003 up until 2011. So it's presented in like chapters or like little short stories that all take place with the same protagonist, and what she's doing at various points in that year span, and finding Osama bin Laden. And so that certainly comes into play, but I feel like more than anything, it's sort of a critique on the way that America handles things like that, like the hunt, like manhunt for one specific person, and how it's bogged down in so much politics and everything that it becomes ineffective in a sense.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway, you know, there's a lot to it, but that's sort of what I took away from it.
Okay.
Those can be a mixed bag because sometimes they can be frustrating because they might lose pace. Like those movies, but it's weird because when those are done well, another example I can think of is something like Zodiac, where I really like that because that's a movie that's pretty much it's similar to Zero Dark 30 in that it's about basically the central conflict of the movie is due process.
Yeah,
like it's all about red tape. You know, and obviously, if you know anything about the Zodiac murders, you know that they don't catch him, and so you go into this movie knowing like they're not going to catch the guy, and it's really long, and they don't catch the villain. So why am I watching it? But then when you watch the movie, it's at least in my opinion, it's very engaging and gripping, and it's just it's fantastic how they basically came so close to finding the guy, and it's a movie about obsession. And granted, like I said, I haven't seen Zero Dark 30, but I at least heard the term due process mentioned in the film's like structure, and I thought, well, that's why I feel like it would appeal to me because I enjoy those movies. It just depends. It has to be done right.
Right.
So do you feel like it was done right?
I do. I mean, it's like you said, it can get frustrating, but for the most part, I mean, this because it's based on a true story like Zodiac, there are things that they have to cover and things that they, you know, like they have to adhere to the truth, at least to, you know, for the most part.
Right.
So, you know, I feel like it was done right. That's sort of a long answer, but yes. And it's got really good performances. James Gandolfini pops up at one point, and I love that guy.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I thought it was a good movie. It's worth a watch. I mean, if you go see a matinee or whatever. Otherwise, you could probably wait till Redbox and wouldn't really.
Okay. That's kind of what I was waiting for, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, going back to Zodiac, I mean, I did like Zodiac. I thought that was a good film, especially with being on the fence about Jake Gyllenhaal, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, but I like Zodiac.
Is he hitting this with you?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there, Michael. I think he straddles a line for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. I guess I can see that.
He's hands down much more talented than his sister.
Yeah. And much better looking.
Yeah. Much better looking than his sister.
It's not fair. Well, it's my opinion. I can say what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
She's... I don't like her nose.
I agree.
I don't like her face.
She looks like a pig.
Yeah. Well, do you guys want to talk film news?
Sure.
Yeah,
crap! I'm sorry. I've been jumping. I jumped forward. One more thing. I jumped. That's a good transition. I've been jumping forward, much like the visions of the people in the pilot to FlashForward that I watched today. That show. Do you remember that show that everyone was like, they're just trying to make another Lost, sort of? It was an ABC show.
Yeah, it came out around the time Lost was ending.
Maybe around the 5th or 6th season of Lost. Yeah. Well, it was 2009 whenever it debuted, so that's about it. The first season's on Netflix, and I know that it's just that first season because it got canceled. but allowed to finish out. And I had been told about it by a friend at work, and he said it was a very interesting show because since they were able to wrap it up and make some sort of beginning, middle, and end, although it's clearly unresolved. I was told it's a very interesting look at discussions about like predetermination and free will, because the whole premise is that the entire world blacks out for 2 minutes. And in those 2 minutes, people see where they're going to be in 6 months. And the main character is like a recovering alcoholic, but he's like drinking again, and he's searching for like something. Like he's like an FBI agent. I mean, his wife is with another man in her vision, and that troubles her. One guy doesn't see anything, so he thinks he's going to die. And then there's like all this catastrophe because there were planes in the air and like things that needed human operation that just crashed during these 2 minutes. Like lots of people died in the blackout. And it's just an interesting show. But at the very end of the episode, they're looking at security cameras from like all around the world, because apparently the FBI can do that. And it's I laughed a couple times because like it's our Grand Central Station, and everyone just drops down at once. I remember thinking, bah.
What is this? I missed the name of this. What is this called?
FlashForward.
I gotta check that out. That sounds hysterical.
That's on the. But like at the very end, they're like, and here's Dodger Stadium or Tiger Stadium in Detroit, and so everyone's just on the ground and the camera's swinging around. But then they see one guy walking among the bodies and just kind of looking around, like not like, oh, what's going on, but like who is that guy and why is he awake? And so that's how it ends. And you're like, someone did this to them, So like it's.
I'm sorry.
It does sound silly, but at least it's interesting. I thought, well, that was a good pilot, and it's going to make. And I know it's a season, so much like Dustin told me when he mentioned Freaks and Geeks, like I know that since there's a season of this, I know that at worst, it's not going to consume enough of my time to be a waste of time. Regardless of if the show is like really terrible, I won't watch the whole thing. But so far, I'm engaged, and I'm interested to see what they want to say with all this.
Well, I got a question.
Yes.
Are y'all excited for Sunday?
Sunday. What's Sunday?
Oh, man, The Walking Dead returns.
Oh. Yeah. I didn't know that was this Sunday.
That's this Sunday, you guys.
Wow.
Gotcha.
The middle of Season 3.
Yeah. The SCAD Atlanta is doing this TV festival. And so part of it, I guess it's the closing night. They're going to have a special screening from The Walking Dead. I don't know which episode it's going to be, but then like some of the cast is going to be there and whatnot.
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta, yeah.
Dude, well, I'm going to come down then immediately.
yeah, dude. Like, go to I think it's SavannahBoxOffice.com. You can probably buy tickets if they still have them. And yeah, I'm working it, so I'll probably like see what I can do. But yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I know I'm real excited for The Walking Dead. I'm a huge fan. I think that the way they write it, the way they shoot it, the way it's marketed, absolutely phenomenal product.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm real excited to see what happens with Season 3.
I'll tell you, though, Season 2 lost me. And for whatever reason, I had almost decided just not to tune into Season 3, but for whatever reason I did. I'm kind of glad I did because it certainly leads better than it was in Season 2.
Yeah.
To me, it still is sort of dragging a little bit. And,
okay.
And I think now that the second half is going to be like Rick and the governor finally squaring off, I think it's going to pick up quite a bit, and that's sort of what I've been anticipating for so long. And so anyway, I'm excited just for that. Yeah.
Now I vaguely remember how the mid-season ended. Yeah. But I do remember that there was a black guy and his kid walking into the prison with a giant hole in the wall. You remember that?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Okay, now, just stay with me.
Okay.
Do we think that black guy and the kid are the same people that saved Rick's life in Season 1?
in the pilot.
Yeah,
that's very possible. I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah.
That would actually be really cool.
You know, and I had this thought the other day, and, you know, I shared the thought with my girlfriend, and she got excited, and I got excited, and we're just super excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I remember it wrong, but I think that it would be phenomenal. I think it would be really, really cool.
Yeah, so. I do too. I went back and rewatched that pilot episode a few weeks ago, and that's just a superb episode of television.
Yeah.
Like, that is a fantastic pilot, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That's great television.
That's how TV needs to be made.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, did you guys catch this new series? I haven't caught it yet, but this new series with Kevin Bacon. Have you guys?
No.
Oh, The Following.
The Following, yeah.
I haven't seen it. My grandfather was telling me about it and was like, "It's too bloody." So, so to me, that sounds like, Dustin, you would like this.
You know, like you think about Kevin Bacon and his whole career and like what he's been successful in, and you know, the first thing that comes to mind is Footloose, of course. Yeah. But then it's the Tremors franchise. It's Tremors. Yeah. But other than that, man, Kevin Bacon. Just thinking about it. You know, I saw a great picture, and it was you know, an internet meme or something, and it was a picture of a stovetop with a skillet on the stove, and it was a printed photograph of Kevin Bacon cut into slices of Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
Man.
It's so good.
I'm really hungry now.
That's another guy with a weird nose, Hooper.
Yeah, I know. Every time I see him, I think about that. I'm looking at his nose like, what is it about your nose that troubles me so? It's just like, yeah. I was watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles the other day, and if you've ever seen that, he's the guy who races Steve Martin to the cab at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, oh my god, that's Kevin Bacon. It's just everywhere, taking cabs and, you know.
Oh my god, Kevin Bacon. But no, I do want to see, it's called The Following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to tune into that just because
I heard it's pretty awesome.
It is, Kevin. Well, the way they advertised it, you know, in the quick little commercials and stuff, it was it really looked like it'll engage you.
Yeah.
And I believe it was TNT that's doing it.
Fox.
Okay.
Yeah,
is
Fox.
it? Okay.
So it'll probably get canceled, but much like
Firefly and Arrested Development and Futurama and
Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared.
Oh yeah.
And everything else, like Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of television, like upcoming television, there's that Hannibal Lecter show coming out.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know when that premieres, but I'd like to tune into that. Are you guys?
What is
that
it?
At all?
I haven't heard about it.
Set like before everything else. It's like a big prequel or whatever. And so, if you remember, if you ever saw the movie Red Dragon, it's Edward Norton's character from that movie working alongside Hannibal. So I think it's probably like trying to take a little bit off of like Dexter, and you know, be like, oh, we're hunting serial killers, but my partner's a serial killer. But
I wonder what Edward Norton's doing these days.
I don't know. Probably lamenting that he wasn't in the Avengers.
Yeah, just like slapping himself, like stupid.
Why am I so hard to work with?
Why am I so hard to work with? God, I was gonna say that poor guy, but he made his bed.
He did. But yeah, that looks interesting. And then there's also the Bates Motel show coming out. I really want to see that. I think that premieres next month.
That got me really excited, actually. Wow. I didn't even know that they were even thinking about that.
Yeah, dude. Go to YouTube and like check out a trailer or whatever, but it's all about like young Norman Bates and the relationship with his mother, and when they first, like, I guess in the pilot episode they buy the motel, and it's like all this stuff that, you know, makes him, you know, psycho. And yeah, I'm super stoked for it because Psycho is my favorite Hitchcock movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people say like Vertigo or whatever, but I love Psycho.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm super stoked for it. And the dude from the Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Freddie Highmore.
Yeah.
He's playing Norman, and his mother is played by Vera Farmiga. Okay. And from like the Departed and Up in the Air. The Departed.
I'll cut your fucking nuts off.
Oh man.
Who farted?
Yeah.
Who farted in here?
The fuck is going on over here?
Fuck is going on in here? Which one of you faggots farted? Who farted in here? Somebody farted. I'm Jack Nicholson.
Is that Jack
Can't
Nicholson?
You tell by my, can't you tell by my voice?
It's so good.
Shit.
But
I'm sorry. Continue.
yeah, seriously, I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I don't remember where I was going with
same. All I'm gonna think of every time I see that movie is I'm gonna sit here and if I'm ever bored, I'm gonna go in the middle of the scene and just make it more lively. Okay. Well, I have some film news prepared that I would like y'all's opinion on. We talked about the Avengers, and here's I found an article about they positing how the Hulk could, what his role would be, and maybe the Avengers 2 and Avengers 3, or just in his own standalone movies.
I don't think he's going to have another one.
No way.
Yeah. I almost feel paranoid about them doing another movie with him because it seems to be the curse that regardless of the movie's performance or quality, the actor just drops out and they'll recast him again. And I don't want that to happen because I like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at these superhero movies. I mean, look at what Christopher Nolan did at the end of The Dark Knight Rises, you know, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, there's another. I mean, he could build a whole franchise off of him. So I don't know how I feel about all these superhero movies coming out. You know, X-Men hit at the box office, and every production company started buying any kind of superhero material they could get their hands on. And it just exploded.
Yeah. The market's oversaturated right now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But that on the Marvel side of it with the Avengers and whatnot, I find myself not as much anticipating those films anymore because I feel like I've seen them all. And I mean, Iron Man 3 is going to be different from the first two, but, you know, in some way, it's really not going to be any different. And so, anyway, but I am looking forward to, like, the new Superman movie because the last one sucked, and so I'm hoping that it's going to be better. So I want to see, like, new characters all the time, I guess. Like, if we have to have a billion superhero movies, I'd rather it be, like, new people rather than just, okay, Iron Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. and like a whole bunch of Avengers starring Iron Man, and then, you know, it's just, at a certain point, it's going to get to be too much.
Have y'all
I already think X-Men is there. Like, X-Men needed to go away.
Yeah, X-Men's starting to bleed together. I can't remember what happens when.
I agree.
I don't even care what happens when. Like, to be honest, like, I know, Hooper, you and I have talked about this before, but I just couldn't care less about the X-Men.
Yeah.
Cheers, boys.
It hasn't violated my my rule yet. Not quite yet.
I've been violated. I've been mightily violated.
It's on thin ice with me.
Well, I mean, you guys saw that they're going to do this whole Iron Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely looking forward to it, but I hope that if they do drop the ball with this one, then at that point, if you're making a fourth, you're like, no, seriously, like, you're just trying to help your grade point average with the movies, and it's just drop the class and, you know, move on.
True, yeah. I will say I love Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. It's just
phenomenal.
I think. I like Robert Downey Jr. like in anything, but I'm looking for Iron Man 3 is one I'll see, but it doesn't excite me like it used to.
I paid money to rent Due Date the other day and it's like the fourth time I've watched it, and I watch it because I watch him, and it's weird because I thought when I saw it I was like, okay, I laughed, but it wasn't that great, and it's one of those movies just like Iron Man 2 where like I'm liking it more and more that I watch it, and it's really because of him. Dustin has not accepted Iron Man 2 into his heart, but
I have not.
Well, I'm with Dustin on that.
Okay, I'm alone.
I have not. And nor have I accepted Due Date either. If I remember right, I think I saw that in theaters with you, Connor, but and I think John probably too. But I didn't care for that one.
Well, we'll agree that I'm right, and we'll just move on.
Due Date was the one.
It's your podcast
with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just I like that movie. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm alone on this one then.
Well, it's more like I understand. Like I fully agree with Dustin's reasons for not liking Iron Man 2. The difference for me is, for some reason, it doesn't turn me off as much as it turns him off. But Due Date, at least it would have been kind of stupid if it didn't have, because there are parts of that movie where it gets really ridiculous. Like, I mean, they like escape from the Mexican border and escape, in a chase from Border Patrol. I seriously doubt that would ever happen. Not to mention the unresolved storyline about why did they suggest that Jamie Foxx knocked up his wife and then they just dropped it? Because there was a part in the movie where like he confronts her about it or whatever, and she's like, "We're a family now. Nothing else matters." And I was like, "What does that mean?" I would have said, "No, I definitely didn't bang your friend. Don't worry about it." She just says, "We're a family now. Nothing else matters." That sounds like an admission of guilt to me.
That's like what Lori told Rick on The Walking Dead.
Right.
Didn't buy it either.
It's like if I was, I don't know, I would have just dropped that.
Speaking of Jamie Foxx, new tangent, Django Unchained.
Right.
Yeah. Have you guys already reviewed that?
I think we talked about it a little bit.
We talked about it a little bit. I actually haven't seen it.
Right. I guess that's why.
My God, that was a movie. That was wow. Quentin Tarantino.
That's what I keep hearing,
Man, I'm telling you, do yourself a favor, and to everybody out there listening, go watch Django Unchained. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good movie. What probably won't be a good movie that involves him is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because he is
Spider-Man 2.
Because he's Electro.
I'm just wondering if there was a drinking game to bad Spider-Man remakes.
You'd die of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, seriously. You would develop a drinking problem.
Not to mention Wrong Turns in Paul Giamatti's career, which also included this movie. I like Paul Giamatti, and maybe I'll not hate him as much as I think I will if I see that movie, but I still don't think that's a good idea. Why? The Rhino's like a big dude he's not like a balding Jewish man. He's like I don't you know what I mean?
I assume it's going to be heavily CGI. So
but even though you could still, through the miracle or curse of modern technology, you can see Paul Giamatti as the Rhino and composite him or whatever. I'm still gonna sit there and think, but he's like 54. The Rhino is, and he can't even bench press, a donut. And
you're gonna bench press a donut.
You're not gonna have like.
I'm not saying bench press a donut.
I'm not saying, I'm not saying you should cast, Jason Momoa as the Rhino because Paul Giamatti can act. But I am saying that I'd almost rather see Jason Momoa because at least I can think, yep, okay, that's physicality. Like, it's like, we're going to pick good actors. Yeah, but don't ignore people who are in shape who are slightly worse actors. I mean, why even try to get, good actors for this movie anyway. You're just going to ruin their career. It's like, hey, I have syphilis. Let's party. And it's like, instead of saying like, I think it's my responsibility.
I'm just waiting for you to make the full circle with this, bro.
This movie has syphilis. Instead of being responsible and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to infect others with my syphilis," it's like, yeah, why not? As if coming into contact with these actors will take away this movie's rampant syphilis. It's just like, which scientifically is not possible. It does not just go away from sharing it. So why would this movie get better with better actors when at its very core it is so flawed and doomed?
Oh.
Yeah.
I am crying right now. That was so funny. My God.
It's just, it's... And
I
this
saw
movie...
The Amazing Spider-Man at the Savannah Film Festival right after they gave Stan Lee an award. So SCAD invited Stan Lee out for the film festival last fall.
I bet he was so glad he didn't have to accept his award after the movie and try to explain himself.
I know. And we gave him a Life Achievement Award, and I was just thinking, well, they gave Stan Lee that award. I'm sure he's just going to go home and put it in his box full of other Life Achievement Awards that, like just people give him, but. He definitely got that award before the movie, and I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
And then I sat there and I watched the movie, and it all made sense.
And you said, "Oh."
Yeah, I said, "Oh, oh, okay."
And I love how they give him isn't it lifetime achievement in film? Like, he hasn't done anything in film.
No, he's a writer.
Yeah.
He's a writer of comic books. He just shows up in the movies for like a day on set, and then that's it.
He's like, "Hey, this was my idea. Thanks for giving it syphilis."
he's like, well, I wouldn't have done that, but who am I to say no to money?
Yeah,
That's also Jack Nicholson.
Yes.
Dude.
What do you think of them announcing they're going to do some Han Solo spinoffs for this new? I almost said new Spider-Man. That would have been a strange crossover. For this new Star Wars saga, I guess they're going to have like the 3 like episode movies, but they'll have the standalones between them, right?
Yeah, right.
Dude.
I think that's the plan.
I committed suicide when I read that article.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody who was like, man, I wish there was some more Star Wars to watch.
Well, hang on.
Everyone that I know of is like, for real? More?
Let's talk about Boba Fett, like a badass galactic bounty hunter, right? And they're going to give him a spinoff, and they're going to call it The Adventures of Boba Fett. Like a badass bounty hunter has adventures. No, not quite.
You should call it the Odd Life of Boba Fett.
See, the other thing about that,
where he comes out of the ground.
Yeah. But you have to remember, like, Boba Fett was in like 10 minutes of one of the movies.
Yeah.
I just don't know that there's enough story there for a whole movie.
He's
a marketable character. That's what they're looking for.
They can make merchandise. If they can make merchandise, let's make merchandise,
Well, and he's such a badass too that I don't know. But it is a difficult line because there is a way. I can see a way. I don't know the specifics because otherwise I'd be making the movie. But I can see a way they can succeed with giving him and Han Solo perhaps some sort of backstory. But there's so exponentially more ways they can fail in that because then it's almost like if watching the prequels made you look at the other movies and say, now they have this weird history, and while they're fighting with the lightsabers, they're thinking about this weird conversation they had one time. Like it provides weird and unwanted context to the later movies. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I also feel like if they can do it right, they will underplay it, and they'll be just much more. I mean, you take the tone that exists between them, which really admittedly there isn't one. There is the bounty hunter, and there is the bounty. So. Yeah. That's, but perhaps give them a reason that maybe Boba Fett just hates Han Solo, but you have to have them apart for most of the movie. You can't have them be friends and now they're enemies.
It's not one movie. I think it's 2 separate movies.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
it's not a good
Han Solo
idea.
movie and a Boba Fett movie.
But you guys remember when they explained the Force, right?
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
They said...
Unfortunately.
Yeah, seriously. They said, oh, the Force happens because of metachlorians.
Yeah.
In your blood.
Yeah.
Which makes you move shit with the Force. You know?
Because that makes sense.
They took all the magic out of it. They took all the magic out of being a Jedi. And I'm afraid that that's exactly what Disney Corporation is going to do with these new Star Wars films.
Yeah.
I'm not so much afraid of Disney's leadership as I am with them, with just the writers thinking that they're doing fan service but not focusing on... What I want them to do with this is make it different and make it unique. You know, I want them to play with it, but I also... Because really, what I felt like one of the problems with the sequels was it just tried to repeat certain formulas from the originals.
Yeah.
What with having, you know, the female protagonist... Not that there's anything wrong with the female protagonist, but even with her crazy hairdos, I was reminded of Princess Leia, and I was like...
Absolutely.
I even as a kid, I picked up on the fact that they're plugging in all these replacements for the original characters. So I don't want them to do that, but I also don't want them to stray from the universe. That's the thing. There's so much of a universe to fill this with, so why not play with it? Like, you have no excuse to not play with it. So I don't know what I really want them to do. I want them to include the original characters to a degree.
Wait, I know what I want them to do.
Yeah?
I want them to abort this whole operation. Sell it back to George Lucas. George Lucas wants nothing to do with it. He won't buy it back. But don't do it. I mean, think about what else Disney's going to do with this, you know? I mean, look at Disney World, for example. What's going to happen the next time we go to Disney World? They're going to have Star Wars Land and Star Wars this and Star Wars that. But it is not going to be the Star Wars that us and our parents grew up on.
Right.
True.
And it's heartbreaking.
The way that I look at it is like George Lucas has already milked that franchise to nothing. So anything that Disney can do at this point, like it doesn't really matter because it's been diluted so much.
Yeah.
If Disney had come in and planned all this stuff after just the originals, then it would be a big deal to me. But now there's Angry Birds, Star Wars, and there's like anything that they can slap the Star Wars logo on, it's on it. And so for me, like it just doesn't. What Disney can do with it doesn't even matter because it's already been done.
You know, sitting here having this conversation with you guys makes me wish, you know, like, you know how radio hosts have these big soundboards and they click a button and it's a gunshot, or they click a button and it's like a... I wish
have all the drops.
Had one of those right now. You know?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe
That would be
blaster
awesome.
noises and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm so far like Hooper. You mentioned this that the prequels kind of like destroy the way you look at the originals. I'm one of those people. Like I can't watch the originals without like being reminded of the prequels, and I hate the prequels so much that it makes me almost hate the originals.
I just pretend it was a bad dream.
Yeah. I wish.
It is a bad dream.
And I just
it's true.
At this point, if they want to do more Star Wars movies, let them do it. I don't care. Like
no more Star Wars movies,
dude. I'm so far past it. I don't even care anymore. Like, let them do what they want to do. They're gonna do it anyway. I don't even care. I don't even get worked up about it anymore because it's bull crap, and they should have just left it alone years ago.
I agree.
Dangerous Dustin. You have nothing to lose.
Dangerous Dustin.
Dangerous Dustin.
That should be your hashtag.
That should be. All of you guys watching this, hashtag that junk on Twitter right now.
Hashtag double D.
Yeah.
You might find something you don't want to look at, or something you might want to look at.
Yeah. The last thing, I'm looking at a couple of these articles about the Justice League movie, and one of them is that they might be scrapping the script, and then another one where Mark Millar is just saying how much of a waste of money it's going to be. I admittedly have not read the articles, but Michael, I don't know. What are your thoughts of the Justice League movie? Because Dustin and I talk about it like every episode, but
Well, I mean, we saw what happened with the Avengers. It was a total hit at the box office. It was a total Fans ate it up, man. And I think if they do the Justice League, it's going to be just as good, just as popular, and it's going to be just as marketable. So I'm excited to see what happens with it. That's
a good way of looking at it. Rather than like me, who looks at it all jaded, like it could be better. And that's how I look at it. Every time I read this, I'm like, I could do it better than these fools.
Well, maybe we should. Maybe we should all get together and make it.
The Justice League is Dustin's 16-year-old daughter. The movie is the freshly 18-year-old jock who's got kind of a rough edge, and Dustin's eyeballing him like, okay, let's be clear. Are you gonna?
This podcast is my shotgun.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are your intentions? And the movie is like, and kind of sidestepping the issue. Dustin's like, no. What are you going to do? Because you know what I'm going to do if you do that thing I think you're going to do.
Don't do it. Don't even think about it.
Don't you do it.
Don't you. But, I try to stay optimistic about it.
Right.
But, I mean, what I'm really waiting for is some sincere originality coming out of Hollywood.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I am not the only one that's been waiting for that, but I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah.
That's I guess the one thing you could say for the Odd Life of Timothy Green, to bring this full circle, is I mean at least it was
yeah.
Because I thought it was like based on a book or something, but apparently it was just an original screenplay. Maybe that's why it wasn't good. But
Timothy Green should be in the Justice League.
There we go.
Timothy Green Lantern.
Wait. Just to clarify this little boy came out of the ground. Okay, he was covered in dirt, and he has
a zombie essentially.
He has leaves that are like around his ankles. they come out of his body, and they're leaves, and they're just like all. He has to like Jennifer Gardner and her husband. I forget who that guy is. They make Timothy Green wear these socks so nobody sees his leaves. I mean, you guys, please watch this movie. Please watch. You need to buy a bottle of Jameson and watch The Odd Life of Timothy Green.
Michael, thanks for coming on.
Well, hey, thank you so much for having me. I had the best times talking with you guys.
We need to do this again.
We do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, that pretty much does it for this episode, I guess. Here's another empty promise for what we're going to talk about next week that, once again, I still don't know. So just listen. And maybe at some point, Tara and I will talk about Doctor Who. Yeah? You want to talk about Doctor Who sometime? Yeah? Okay. Maybe that'll just be me and her thing. But
can I talk about it too? I hate it. It sucks.
You can. Oh, you don't like it?
I'll never watch that.
No.
You don't like it, Dustin?
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
Wait, so Michael, have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it, but I've heard amazing things.
Dustin, you are not invited anymore.
Michael has an optimistic outlook.
If it hinges on Doctor Who, that's fine.
Put it on. Okay, hang on. Okay, hold on. She would like to weigh in. Hang on.
No, seriously though, I've never seen it.
Okay, do you have Netflix?
I have Netflix.
Okay.
Michael, this is my fiance Tara.
Hi, Michael. You're Connor's room.
Tara.
Michael let us drink. When
you should know that. You should not tell that to the rest of the world.
Were they going to arrest us? I was 21.
I don't care.
Okay.
So
come and get me, world.
If you have Netflix, watch the season 1 of the new episodes, not the classic Doctor Who, but the normal Doctor Who, the new one. It starts with Christopher Eccleston. I would give it a few episodes. It is very cheesy, very like old school, I would give it a bit. And after about a season or so, you'll start to love it. I swear.
Okay.
I have to watch it for a whole season before I like it?
I was a little skeptical about watching Doctor Who because I didn't like sci-fi movies in the first place, or any shows for that matter, because like science fiction can be kind of cheesy. The effects can be kind of dumb. I grew up with a lot of the old school science fiction stuff. So I was, I wasn't really enjoying the sci-fi aspect of it, like the cheesy effects. So Doctor Who, I think, starts out with a very, cheap, very like low budget. The story is still really good, but I had an issue with it because of that low budget kind of effect.
The story and the mythology is very strong, Dustin. I think that might tide you over. What will also tide you over is the laughably low budget special effects.
Yeah.
Every time I'm sort of getting bored.
How far, Dustin, have you gotten into the Doctor Who episodes?
I've never seen anything.
Oh, but you don't like it?
I don't like it on principle.
I mean, I didn't either. Like,
it's like who's on first? Doctor
a lot
Who,
of my
and
good
even
friends.
Have a name?
Who's on first?
A lot of my good friends posted on Facebook like super Doctor Who fans, and so I was annoyed by it because of the fan base.
Yeah, they're very belligerent.
But after my friends, kind of,
yes.
A lot of my really good close friends were like, "We're gonna kidnap you and make you watch it." I was like, "Fine," and I got really bored during finals, so I started watching it and then could not stop. I literally watched every single episode for I finished them in 2 weeks.
Tara, I got a question.
Yes.
You say that this is the new Doctor Who, but exactly how new is it?
2005 is when it first started.
They
I say new versus the classic, because the classic Doctor Who, I think, started in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
So they had a few episodes
still
for a bit, like 60s to the 80s, I think. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So the new one starts in 2005.
Yes.
And best I understand it, it pulls from the mythology created in the original series or whatever.
Oh, yes.
But do you need to see the original series to start?
I didn't. I've tried. I've attempted. Because I'm such a... I consider myself a Doctor Who fan. So I wanted to get back into the episodes after I finished all of them. And I started watching the old ones. And again, very cheesy, I mean... 60s. The special effects aren't that great, so it was really hard for me to watch
it. The 60s are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, if you like it, fine, but that is my own personal taste. I have a hard time getting into the 60s. So
the 60s were awesome.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
The 60s were awesome for music and Batman, not much else.
But I mean, if you are a huge fan of the classics, then watch the classics.
The thing about I'll weigh in on the continuity too. Like, you don't much have to. I also didn't watch the original stuff because I thought I might have to, but I also thought I'd be really bored by the original series, and all I'd think of was I'm only doing this to get caught up for the new stuff. But I watched the rebooted series, and I looked for clues that would suggest that I'm missing details, and there's none of that. So whatever, they don't retcon it, but they realize, like, look, we're not going to make you catch up on the series if you understand the concept of the show.
Some of the old characters will appear in the new seasons, but you don't really need to know that, and if anything, it'll make you more interested in watching the old seasons because you see these new, characters that were actually the old characters. So I
just Googled it. Evidently, there are 790 episodes of the show.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And there's still a current season recurring, and it starts, I think, in April, at least broadcasting in the United States, and I am ready for it. So it is so addicting.
Tara.
It is so addicting, and it's horrible, but yeah.
Tara was like, "You need to watch the show," and then I watched a few episodes because I was also annoyed by the Doctor Who fans, and I watched it, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" And so now I'm
that and Downton Abbey.
That's almost 400 hours you'd have to spend if you were to watch all of the Doctor Who episodes.
Yep. I literally watched from season 1 through season, I think 6 is on Netflix, in like 2 to 3 weeks during finals week.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Or one of the weeks for finals week. Oh yeah, that's how intense I was. I will convert you.
I haven't seen Doctor Who, but I need to watch it.
You do. It's on Netflix, so it's free, technically, sort of, kind of.
It's free after you pay for it.
Well, after you pay for it, everything's free.
Yeah.
Right.
But we will watch Doctor Who, and we're going to watch Freaks and Geeks.
That's a really good show, too.
I guess the last thing, I didn't intend to mention this, but I'll just say it real quick because I know we're not going to discuss it. apparently, Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Olsen are in talks for the new Godzilla. That's really the only reason I go see it is because Bryan Cranston's involved.
Dude, Bryan Cranston is amazing. He should do motion capture for Godzilla.
I was going to say, maybe he should play Godzilla. That'd be so great. He just walked in the city and he'd be like, say my name. You're Godzilla. And he'd be like,
I am the danger.
Yeah.
I am the danger.
I'm the one who breathes fire. Anyway.
I'm the one who knocks over buildings.
All right. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate it. I guess everybody say goodbye. Come back and say goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
For
Internet.
the 2 seconds I
you.
contributed, sure.
Thanks for listening, and thank you guys for having me as your guest this week. I'd love to come back.
What's the name of the restaurant
Love to have
again,
you
Michael?
back.
Oh, yeah, Tondi's Tavern on Bay Street.
Awesome. God, it sounds
Savannah?
Yeah.
I'm
Savannah.
going to go back to Savannah.
Yeah. Well, if we come back to Savannah, we'll go there. We'll go there for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm here, so hit
We'll
me
tell
up.
them that you sent us.
Yes, sir.
Word.
Yeah.
All right, man. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'll see you later.
All right.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, if y'all stopped recording.
Someone's all Starscreaming right now.
Yeah,
It's me.
Yeah, Hooper, you
With
are.
Starscreaming.
Shit. I'll explain later.
It's when you try to steal the power from Lord Megatron.
Right.
That makes absolutely no sense. What is Starscreaming?
Well, you're probably Starscreaming
You need
too.
to find the All-Star. What is it?
The Allspark.
The All-Spark. Thank you.
Hang
Is
on.
it when you speak too loud?
Hang on. Starscreaming is when, like, I'll play it back. It'll get really staticky,
Mm-hmm.
and our voices will echo and static, and it gets harder and harder to
So it
understand
probably
us.
happens when you have a speaker going and a microphone
No,
going.
it's not. No. It happens when we're doing headphones too. It's just after a while the microphone decides to stop working.
Gotcha.